rise above the cloud. With every word they make us proud. Unchained and unapologetic, living loud, never synthetic. Truth their anthem, breaking free. Man up, no false decree.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, man.
That's great. That's wonderful. Super duper.
How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Just double checking. Making sure
Hola.
we're alive. All right.
Yes.
Well, a lot of stuff to go over today.
Yeah. Apparently some of it has been unknown that part of the world.
Hey, look who's here. D4V3 HUD. All right.
D4V3.
Good to see you, man.
Hola. Hola. Jorge said he might join us.
Then you won't be able to talk. I'm going to ask him.
I want to be able to talk, but nobody will be able to talk if fucking Jorge comes on.
That's true. Yeah, so Lee surprises me with guests. I don't know they're coming, and then he says, and he brought Tommy on, who I hadn't talked to forever. It was a friend of mine, and I was just like excited, like, oh, it's good to see you, man, blah blah blah. And then he's like, you wouldn't let me talk, blah blah. I was like, well, if I didn't know he was coming on, I'd have been more prepared, and we'd have talked.
That's why I brought Jorge. That's why Jorge's coming on. I thought, right. Considering there's the theme for the night is nuclear, I'm bringing Jorge.
Yeah. And also just, I think there's a big, there's a disparity as far as news goes. Because you're over in Europe and you get, there's a lot of issues that nobody talks about here. Except for like alternative media, which still doesn't talk about it unless it's stupid. Like the fact that the German government has fallen. Nobody knows that in America. It hasn't been talked about at all. Steven Crowder talked about it last night, but just to make fun of them because they're stupid. Their politicians are stupid. So there's this, I don't know, some chick, and because they want to have a snap election because the government's fallen, right? And you wouldn't believe the reason the lady said that they couldn't have a snap election. What do you think she said to the?
That's the one part I'm not aware of.
To the German people.
Let me take a guess. It's too cold.
That's pretty good. Germany gets cold.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She said, we don't have enough paper for the paper ballots.
Oh, Lord.
Because of the digital age. So do you know what happened?
What?
The paper industry in Germany was offended and put out a statement. And he's like, that's the thing. He was just making fun of it. He's like, oh, we're not even going to translate it. And they had the news chick, and she's like, das Papier, da, blah, blah, "We have das Papier," and it's like we don't even need to translate it. It's so ridiculous.
I mean,
But
the
yeah,
excuse alone is fucked up.
they're the only reason that they even was brought up was to make fun of their stupidness
Mhm.
and the absurdity. And that was Steven Crowder. That's not CNN. It's not Fox. All of our news agencies, half of them are just a little more than half are
That might
Donald
stem
Trump's
from the
bad.
fact that the left are trying to ban all paper.
Well, it's just Donald Trump's bad, and the other half are like Donald Trump's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
all. That's what the news is. It's just propaganda, but it's not
It's
even
just-
like overall propaganda. It's just it's so
He's bad.
targeted.
He's good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. We're drinking, man.
Green tea
Oh, good. Green fucking tea.
with monk
So-
fruit.
I think I surprised you with a couple of stories this week, didn't I? Not stories, but information.
Yeah.
One was a story.
The
The British farmers was one story. Well, I think
Yeah,
you were
the-
aware of that one.
and then I was thinking about that more after we talked about it.
That's
And when you
shocking.
told me what the British farmers, the issue is, because I didn't know. I just knew the guy from Top Gear was, in the face of this BBC person, and that Ricky Gervais was mad about something, and it was that. That's it.
Yeah, Jeremy
and
Clarkson.
It seems, and then when it comes to Europe, it seems like there was a concerted effort to attack farmers and farms.
Oh, yeah.
From the Netherlands,
Fuck.
the Dutch, what we call Holland over here, to Britain, to all the and the dude in the politician I saw, he shocked the news dude because he's like, we need to do what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners.
Yeah.
And he's like, you mean beat them up? And he's like, well, we have to get serious about these farmers. And then he was talking about them like they were pieces of shit.
Pieces of shit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was disdain. And then he straight up said, we don't need these little farms anymore. We just, and then that was it. Then it all clicked. Oh, he just wants, huge farm corporations, Monsanto and all,
Correct.
no more small. And I think that's what they were trying to do in Holland. And now they're trying to do in all Europe is to force out just small business in, but farms. And then when you told me what the inheritance tax is, what they're doing, then it's very clear.
Yeah.
And I think
There's
that's
no easier way to get rid of them. That's
Yeah,
the
that-
easiest way
and
to
then-
tax them out of it.
what Harris wanted to do with the unrealized gains. That would bring about you'll own nothing and be happy. Well, you'll own nothing. I don't know about being happy, but that was I think it's obviously that's what the plan was, and it's still in effect in Europe. Hopefully we've put it off for a few years here, but
Well, yeah, I mean, if you play your cards right over there, you should get a good 12-year run at this now. Which will save you guys, because the cycle, by the time 12 years time, man, the world will be a completely different place. People will realize these woke lefty policies are a disaster.
I don't know, man. We could also talk about the Jaguar commercial.
Oh, that is disgusting, isn't it?
It's
Out of touch.
out of touch, and forget disgusting. It's out of touch and stupid.
Out of touch,
They didn't even show a
stupid.
car.
Yeah,
They didn't show a car.
Yeah. And I mean, it's out of touch, it's stupid, and it's pushing a fucking agenda that nobody wants.
Yeah, and PBD had a good point. He was like, they're trying to do the Apple commercial
Yes.
for when the Macintosh first came out, and they didn't show the computer, but it was the whole. It was a point. 1984 will not be like 1984 because Apple, it's going to be so different, and but it was talking about Orwell, and they're just trying to. It was just weird,
Yeah.
But also,
I actually thought something similar.
they didn't show a car.
Oh, it was fucking horrific, man. I'm like, what is the fuck?
Yeah,
I thought it was a joke first.
yeah. That's a lot of people. That's a like advertising in general now.
Hmm.
It's like you don't know if it's a sketch or not. You know, like I because the streaming services now they have commercials and they break in at the weird parts when you're watching a show and you don't know if it's part of the show and it's a joke. You know what I mean, or if it's a sketch and then it's
We
there's a
don't
real
have them here yet.
huh.
We don't have the commercials. They're not infused in the programming here yet for the streaming services.
For Hulu, Peacock, I think Apple,
Oh, wow.
all those they are not for Netflix yet.
Which is kind of fucking
Amazon,
strange.
Amazon, I think they just do it in the beginning, like 2 or 3 commercials, and then it's like the regular show, which is fine. But I mean, Paramount, all of them, they put commercials in there now, which is annoying.
Yes. Yes. Aloha. From Maui. Jesus Christ, man. We've got worldwide reach here.
Yeah, everyone's on the coast.
Yeah, that, you know what though? I thought when I seen that commercial, so I thought, yeah, Jaguar aren't doing great. And I thought, is it any fucking wonder? It says an awful lot about the people that are pulling the strings in that company. First off, the advertising guys that created it. Second off, the boys at the real top, the CEOs down went, yeah, that's a good idea. I like that fucking video. I like that commercial.
Yeah, and a lot of times those people think that they're insulated from that because you're like, we just hired this company, but yeah, you got to prove it, man. You got to say, yeah, that's cool. But Elon's like, don't you guys sell cars? What?
Yeah,
It was funny. Did you hear about Elon?
Well, man, there's so much to hear. What did I miss in the last 24 hours?
Well, I saw Alex Jones said this. He was saying something about MSNBC. He goes, maybe we'll buy MSNBC or something that it's for sale.
Oh yeah.
It was only it's like $6 billion or $4 billion. It's not crazy amount of money compared to Twitter.
I mean, that's nothing for Elon.
So Elon was mentioning buying it.
Okay.
That so, dude.
Is that what the View is?
No, the View's on ABC, Disney.
Oh, ABC.
But they're taking care of themselves. Did you see?
Oh, they're taking care of themselves, yeah.
Did you see what the one chick had to do?
Nuh-uh.
Oh, it was bad, dude. It was bad. It was. So
I don't know.
She was talking about, who was she talking about?
I only know Whoopi because he's the most retarded.
If you know in the chat, she was talking about someone. Who was it?
It's a bad move.
It was Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
Okay. Matt Gaetz called him a sexual predator, rapist, blah blah blah. And he was going to be the AG, dude. So he hit the View and Disney like within hours. And it came back, and Whoopi said, "You have some illegal notation to make, so I guess you should do that."
No way.
And she said, I mean, it was right in the camera. Her voice was cracking. There were tears welling up.
Good.
She said, "Yesterday, I said something that was not true. Matt Gaetz has never been charged with anything that has to do with anything that I said. He has categorically denied that these things ever happened." It was
what a bitch.
It was hardcore. But that's kind of stuff, that has to happen. Because
they gotta be accountable, man. You cannot be saying all sorts of shit.
Well, the SEC is supposed to be doing a job.
Yeah.
They haven't done their job, and then everyone's doing their job now, though. Now that the election's over, and they know that they're going to get in trouble, people are starting to do their job. Like the SEC is investigating CBS how they cut together the Kamala.
Yes. Yeah.
But they've been around for 4 years. They haven't done shit.
Shit. Yeah.
You know, they allowed all these news agencies to lie. They allowed news agencies to be to make stuff up. They've never went after anybody, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're doing our job. You know, literally 24 hours after Trump won, the Department of Justice dropped like half the charges, and they said, hey, we're going to investigate this, and they said, we're doing our job. Because you know, Ramaswamy and Musk are going to go in and clean house and fire like 70% of people.
Yeah.
And
well, I heard the View was on the verge of getting cancelled, anyways.
yeah, but they're always on the verge of getting canceled. I'm not like they could lose money. It doesn't matter.
That shit. And money talks, right? Advertisers must be thinking, "Fuck, no, watching this shit. What's the point?"
No, like, that's the thing. Money doesn't talk, or it does, but it's funded by Soros or other people. You know what I mean? BlackRock, so on. It's just to push an agenda to people that are old people and people that watch TV. I haven't watched regular TV in forever until I was in the hospital. And I only watched the regular TV in the hospital because my phone charger broke.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't watch it. It was just, it literally every 5 minutes, it was fast food and drugs.
Yeah.
It was fast food and pharmacy, fast food and pharmaceuticals, fast food and pharmaceuticals. It was ridiculous. It wasn't like even annoying.
Yeah, so, and then the odd charity fucking things asking for donations.
And then my doctor would come in like every day and he would be like, hey, I'm going to prescribe you this new drug. I'm going to prescribe you this new drug. And I'd be like, oh, that's the one with the chubby lady that's singing and dancing. Oh, that's the one that because I saw the commercials. And then when I get out of the hospital, I know obviously he's a shill for the pharmaceutical companies because these are all brand new drugs that when I was like, here, pharmacy, these are my new prescriptions. And they were like, okay, that'll be, like $2,800 a month. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, these 3 new drugs, these are new. So there's no generics. These just came out.
There's no generics.
Yeah. This is $700. This one's $450, each. And I was like, well, then I'm not going to take that.
Yeah.
Just forget it.
I can't afford to be alive. Can't afford to live.
Yeah. And then also, like, I thought that insulin was like $30 or something. It's not, and then this nurse told me, hey, there's over-the-counter insulin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like you fucking know that. No.
It's been around long enough that that there should be like, it shouldn't be like such a high price.
Well, yeah, but I told the pharmacist, I'm like, I'm just going to take that over-the-counter insulin. They're like, there's no such thing as over-the-counter insulin. And then I like look at my phone to like look at what the person said. I said, yeah, it's called this.
Yeah.
And they looked it up and I was like, it's at Walmart. And she looked it up and she was like, I don't see how this is allowed. I mean, it technically is a form of insulin and it could be used and blah, blah, blah. So, but yeah. Yeah. That's a whole different thing. We're supposed to talk about the US-UK line. That's something that I did not know. I did not know until I was watching Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, and he didn't even know this. And he got pissed. It was amazing. And he has these people on that are like co-hosts, that he runs the show. But this dude sent him a Minect, which I assume is something you got to pay for to send a message. And he told this story about Ukraine that I had never heard. I mean, I know that Ukraine was talking about joining NATO and that Russia couldn't stand for that because they're right there on their border. Just like when Russia or when the Soviet Union wanted to put missiles in Cuba, we said, we'll blow the world up if you do that. And they backed off. So I understood that, but that's common knowledge. So this guy talked about, and none of the other co-hosts listened to him. So he's like, what do you think about this? And then they all started to like make some point they wanted to make that they wanted to talk about. And he was like, no, what do you say to this guy? And they're like, it literally, they were like, oh man, I wasn't listening. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. he got real pissed. It was funny. But anyway, so what I didn't know is there was
Sorry,
this.
Sean, I wasn't listening. Go back to that. What you said?
Yeah, there was this thing which you know about. It's called trilateral agreement. It was in Budapest that they met. So when the Soviet Union broke up, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. They were very, very abused by the Soviet Union. That's one of the reasons. That's one thing I always knew.
Fuck!
But
Wait a second. Wait a second. Just 2 seconds.
I hate when he does this.
Okay, I apologize. Go ahead. And I apologize. I don't normally apologize, but I do this time, okay?
Yeah, you always do that. So, Soviet Union breaks up. Ukraine is part of the Soviet Union. So Ukraine had a ton of nuclear weapons.
Over 1,700 warheads.
Ukraine was so the United States, Russia, top nuclear powers in the world. Ukraine was the number 3 nuclear power in the world.
Correct.
More than UK, more than anyone. Which I guess scared the powers that be, the big boys.
Big boys,
so
yeah.
Russia, UK, and this is a big deal for you people and for Americans to listen to this on a smaller scale. So the UK, America, and Russia have a meeting with Ukraine, and they're like, "Hey, give up all your nuclear weapons." Russia's like, "We'll take all the nuclear weapons back." And then we 3 agree to always protect Ukraine against anyone that tries to mess with you. UK, United States, and Russia. Now, the point made is that Russia is like, "Hey, you're stupid because you made a bad and you voted for those people. So the people you voted were stupid and weak, and you gave up your arms. So you deserve us to invade you because you're dumb." That's the logic. But the logic behind everything else is we have a treaty that we have to defend Ukraine. The UK government has to defend Ukraine. America has to defend Ukraine because we agreed if they gave up their weapons that we would do that. Like other people in the United States, politicians, hey, if you give up your arms, if we are allowed to ban, take away the Second Amendment, we promise that we'll protect you, and the police will up police, and it's not. Don't give up. We can't give up your guns. Every time any civilization gave up their guns, and just the government's allowed to own guns, people suffer. That's it, because they have no more power. There's a charge now in I know in Australia, probably in Britain and everywhere, where you get charged with possession of a knife.
Correct.
That's a real charge.
Yeah, 5-year sentence.
5 years. See I didn't want to laugh. I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop that laugh.
Are we doing with the Ukraine thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they gave up their arms to all these nuclear weapons. But we have this treaty that we signed in 1997, 93 or 97, that forces us to vehemently defend this country.
The sovereign territory of Ukraine.
Which is one of the reasons why we got into bed. But, to play devil's advocate, Russia's defense, they've been promised NATO will not move 1 inch further past Germany. Not 1 inch. And we've moved a lot of inches.
A lot of fucking inches, yeah.
A lot of inches. So I think Trump's going to go in there and make a deal that Ukraine will not even discuss membership in NATO.
Yeah, when he mentioned it.
For the next 20 to 50 years.
Yeah.
but they don't need to because they got this fucking treaty that's already we've signed that says that we should, in all fairness, have sent troops immediately. The UK
Yeah,
should have sent troops
that,
immediately.
and if that was really on the table, if Putin thought that was going to happen, would never have made it.
Exactly,
But he
and it
knew.
would have been on the table.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everyone says he never would have invaded because Trump's crazy and blah blah blah. But if the American people just knew about the stupid treaty
Mm-hmm.
and it was talked about, it would like that's the whole that's the whole reason behind NATO. It's like they can't help it. Like if you mess with any of these countries, we have to go to war with you. We have to. You know, we're forced to. We don't want to. And nobody messes with any of the NATO countries.
Yeah.
And I think Putin knows that. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
Because everyone knows that. But not everybody knew about this stupid treaty. And it's never been brought up in 2 years now that all this has been going on. It's never been brought up.
That's strange because, I mean, everybody here is well aware of it.
It was brought up by a guy.
Mm.
It was brought up by someone sending in a message. It still wasn't brought up by any kind of even alternative media.
Mm. I wonder why that. That's strange because they're like usually bring up these kind of things, but is it just because nobody wants to discuss this? Nobody wanted boots on the ground. That's it.
I think people just didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just this is from back in the 1900s, man. This is policy and government bureaucracy from back in the 1900s. So nobody, people don't forgot about it. I don't know why Ukraine wasn't bringing this up. I don't know why Zelensky wasn't here on TV talking about, hey man, what about this agreement that you signed?
It's when he wasn't waving the document everywhere, going, "Hey, listen, lads, you're supposed to have our backs."
See, this is something that it just shows about the FTX money. It's all about money. It was all about money laundering, dude. It's all about destroying. It's about destroying Ukraine, cleaning out some people. You know, cleaning house, getting rid of some mouth breathers, and some resource takers. You know, which is what Gates and everybody wants to do, to lower the population, destroy infrastructure, and then give contracts to rebuild it to BlackRock and other people. It's about money. It's about money and about their agenda to get rid of people. Correct. Or else this would have been brought up, man. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, Russia, you've invaded. I'm sorry, we have to send, North Korea sent 10,000 pieces of meat to Europe, to Russia, so that they could go die on the battlefield. You send 10,000 American soldiers, 9,000 are coming back. That's how it is. You know, they're not chunks of meat that go out there to just get shot. They're soldiers. They are good at killing people and blowing shit up. So it's even more obvious to me what's going on now that I know that treaty freaking exists.
Yeah, God, you know what? I wonder how many other treaties around the world are being ignored or have been signed and with no intention of following through on them. I mean,
and that's another thing. It just shows that it shows what like anarchists have always talked about. There is no such thing as a government. It's not a real thing. It's an idea. There's no such thing as a law. It's not a real thing. You know, it's not if I go out and I steal something. When I walk out of the store, I go to jail. You know, I just like I appear there. No, it's someone has to agree that was wrong. They have to go and they have to catch me. They have to think it's a big enough deal to try and fight me if I'm going to fight back. It's all an idea. It has to be accepted by people. You literally need the consent of the governed to make it a law.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
I thought it was like the Budapest Agreement, or because it was
Budapest Memorandum is where it all was discussed. But that treaty has I think that's called the trilateral. Fuck, what is it called?
I thought the trilateral was something different when you told me that. Yeah, it was the Budapest. You know what? I could look up the episode where it's on Value Taven, Patrick Bet David, the podcast where he talked about it. But it blew his mind, and he was trying to. The trees just what about the ethnic cleansing the Ukrainians were doing against the Russians? Why do we defend their wrong? Why do we defend their wrong? Because we have a treaty. Because that's how treaty works. It's laws. That's why they're serious when you sign a treaty.
A trilateral statement, and it's called the Lisbon Protocol, 1994.
Lisbon Protocol. Okay, I knew there was a country name in there. Or a
Do you guys
city.
see me typing? Yeah, we see you typing, Dell. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
So what were the Ukrainians doing with Russia with ethnic cleansing the Russians? Are you talking about
So,
their region
They
in Ukraine?
it was in the Donbass region.
Yeah. I don't know
So
about
that was
country.
always going to be a breakaway area, anyways.
Yeah, that's because I've seen like people go there
Mm.
and they're like, "Hey man, we're Russian. We like Russian.
Yeah.
we want to speak Russian. We're in here, but we were Russian."
Yes. But like, okay, so they passed laws to make it like, difficult to speak Russian. I think the education system had to be outlawed in Russian, had to be Ukrainian. But I mean, right, they're oppressive laws and shit. But ethnic cleansing is a completely different animal, and I've never seen anything.
Yeah, I never saw any kind of ethnic
Never
cleansing.
seen any evidence of actual ethnic cleansing.
Like like we work with people. We work with Russians. We work with Ukrainians. And everyone's like, "Oh, Sean, you're an American." And what do I say to them every time?
You said, no, I'm a Yankee.
Yeah, I don't say that. What do I say?
What do you say?
Well, I'm from Texas.
No, you say I'm from Germany.
No, don't give me that shit. I always say, yeah, I grew up
You
there.
do say that a lot.
I said I grew up in Europe, in Germany, and you tease me about that. But I always tell people, well, I'm from Texas, so it is America. It's kind of,
Yeah, you're a Texan, yeah.
I always make the point because I feel like Texas is America, the way America was more American than America.
Okay.
And that America I have to separate myself as a Texan from the rest of the country.
You have to define yourself as a Texan rather than an American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you do that a lot.
Yeah.
And then you go, I was raised in Germany.
Because it's
how that conversation
it's different. It's a different place. It is. I think under the gingivitis outbreak, it really showed that. We never shut down churches. We never had forced stuff. I mean, look at the border thing. Arizona, New Mexico, California, every other state, and Texas like, no, we're putting up wires. We're not gonna. But they're like, we're gonna. It's not like we're doing anything different. We're just saying we're going to honor the treaty. We're going to follow existing law, because it's not like, and that's why Texas could always do what they did, because it goes to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's like, well, this is the actual law that they're following. And the federal government's wanting to change the law or go around the law. So I think Texas is the most American, state that there really is. Florida, I think, runs a second. Louisiana, not bad. But it's America.
Alabama.
It's Alabama and Arkansas. You can marry your first cousin, so I don't know if we want to talk about.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
So,
What's more American than that, man? Freedom to do with
a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is more American than that.
Oh Jesus! Oh,
You sure is the best time for you to cook that?
What?
what's he cooking?
Something with a lot of peppers, man.
That's my bad. There were some seeds still on the counter. I kicked them off. That's my bad.
Holy shit, man! If it's hitting you like that, it's got to be strong.
It's hit me in another room, dude.
What kind of peppers is he cooking? Illegal ones.
All those jalapenos. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
7 pounds jalapenos.
7 pounds.
Hawaii is like the most expensive state. Hawaii. Can you open the door every time I take a deep breath? It hits me.
I'm getting it over here now. Yeah, open the door.
Ooh. the disparagement between like wealthy and poor, from what I hear about Hawaii, is like it's like one of the most blatant kind of things.
Really, I never knew that.
Yeah, Hawaii's the most expensive state to live in, more than Alaska.
Wow.
Which in Alaska it's expensive, but Alaska you get extra money and there's subsidies.
Oh, the good old subsidies is causing all sorts of problems in Europe at the moment.
And it's not so much subsidies as like profit sharing, like money they make from oil and other stuff.
Hey, open the fucking window, man.
Yeah, man.
I never knew Hawaii was the most expensive. Wow.
Oh yeah, the Hawaiians are the poorest people in the world, dude.
Jesus.
It's
Learn something new every day. I
like
thought I'd finished learning.
It's like Ukraine during the Soviet Union. They literally were starving to death, growing food and making it for the rest of.
You guys don't need the food that we do.
Look at that, dude! 3-bedroom house, almost $6,000 a month.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you're a waiter at the tiki bar at the Holiday Inn, you're not making enough money for. Thanks.
$5,800 a month. That's basic. So you got your utilities on top of that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ almighty. You probably have to pay some kind of tax in terms of what you call it, property tax or something, or there's included in that. Is that that's how do you afford 5,800?
They can't. That's why there's a lot of like families that live together, and it's a very poor area, dude.
The locals here hate America. Pretty liberal and woke over there. Sorry, Texas is being taken over too. We got to fix that.
Well, that's a good. I want to bring something up.
Why are you bringing it up now? There's 2 good points there.
The market has fixed shit in Texas. They're leaving.
They're leaving?
They're leaving because
they were going in droves.
They all came in
from
San Francisco and all the tech people, especially during the gingivitis outbreak, because they're like, hey, we can work remote for Apple, for Google, but live in Texas where we can make our San Francisco money.
Yes.
And buy this cheap house for only $1 million. Whereas it was like 100,000 before that. So what they did is they drove property prices up. And then the greedy politicians are like, hey, let's reevaluate the tax structure.
Mm-hmm.
So then they raised the property tax, to where now it's really expensive to live in Austin and that area. So they're moving out. They're moving out. So I think we're.
You might be saved.
Yeah, it's already happening.
Okay,
like so many of the people that came in here, they're leaving and going to.
Good. I don't think you can afford to lose Texas. To put it that way.
No.
Right away from my home. I never realized that this state was illegally taken and annexed.
What state?
Hawaii, I think she's on about.
Oh, Hawaii's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I was talking with Lisa about it, and we're talking about Puerto Rico, and I was like, I'm fine with the U.S. giving up Hawaii, making it a sovereign nation. We did bad things to that. It was a country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was strategic against when Japan was.
It was strategic.
All that
very
kind of, it was. I can understand why we did terrible things, but we did terrible things to the Hawaiian people. So give up Hawaii and make Puerto Rico a state. I'm so down with that. It's fine. But yeah, if you look into what we did to Hawaii, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I read about it a while back, but you know, I don't know enough to comment about it.
Yeah, and they're still like the royal family of Hawaii. I think there's like a princess or something left. But yeah, they had a nice little country with king and culture and everything. And,
No.
but yeah,
What are you doing, man?
what am I doing?
What are you doing? So you're up to something there now. What are you at?
I'm making myself a cotton candy juice.
You motherfucker. Damn it, Sean. As taxpayers, we can't afford dough or be a state. I can't afford you or be a state. If your house is, if you're paying 5,800 a month, right? How in the fuck can you afford anything? I mean, that's just. I can't get
And
my hair
also,
on
like food and other things cost more to go there. I mean, that's on the
That's
other
in the
side
middle
of Earth.
fucking middle of the Pacific, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like when I told you, the story when I was a kid. I think I was like
You're growing up in Germany.
I was 15. I got in trouble, and I was in the office. I got suspended, and this friend of mine was there, who was German, Boris, and the one his sister was the Benetton model. That but we're like, man, this town sucks, man. Our parents suck, man. And he's like, I got a friend. He lives in Alaska. He goes, we can go there and work for the Gorton's fisherman plant, and we'll make like $15 an hour. And his back minimum wage is like $3. So I was like, dude, we'll be rich. We'll live like kings. He's like, yes. Yeah, so we were gonna run away. We're we're 15. We were gonna run away and move to Alaska and be fishermen. Work at the Gorton's fisherman plant. And then I learned that rent is like 5 times as much. Food, like a gallon of milk, it was like $5 at a time when it was like $1 here. So making $15 an hour was like the equivalent of making like $3.50 or $4 an hour.
That's fucked.
So I was like, yeah dude, we can't. I'm not gonna run away.
I've just realized something also.
What?
I think we're gonna have Hawaii is gonna have to be removed from the island plan.
We couldn't afford it.
We couldn't afford the fucking thing.
Yeah, we gotta go South America, dude.
Yeah, we gotta go to South America. Yeah, South America. Yeah, I agree. Well, any northern islands around Alaska up there?
Yeah, there are, but then it gets too cold. Canadian.
Don't forget. I'm used to cold, right? So we could have like a winter version, and we could have a summer version. If it gets too hot,
it would probably be cheaper in Canada.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They got cheap islands.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah.
With houses already built on them.
Yes.
Yeah, nice ones. Up in Cubbon country. That's what they call it.
I only live here because my job pays my apartment and utilities. I only pay for the internet. Argentina. Yeah, Argentina, man. Argentina. Or I'll tell you what's another beauty. I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this so recently. Uruguay.
Oh, really? I know a girl in Uruguay.
Did you know it's the wealthiest country in South America? I didn't know that.
Is it Uruguay or Paraguay? Because there's 2 Y's.
Yeah, there's Paraguay and there's Uruguay. Uruguay is the one on the coast, down beside Argentina.
Okay.
Paraguay is, I think Paraguay could be landlocked actually.
Might be. They're both by Belize though. Okay. So I think we
Paraguay does have a border in Argentina, yeah.
So we talk about how the U.S. and the UK lied to Ukraine. Yeah.
We did.
Plus Europe is messed up.
But
I didn't know what was going on with Britain and why there's all these tractors in London, and why the dude from Top Gear is yelling at this BBC reporter. I know he has a farm. He started raising goats and stuff.
Yeah, because he does a show about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you told me what the plan, what they're mad about,
Yeah.
It all came together, dude. Everything. I think
Well, they're mad about numerous things, but that's the one that seems to have broke the camel's back.
Yeah. But I was like, is it just like the Dutch farmers because they were trying? But then I think when I was looking at what Harris wanted to do with the unrealized capital gains, it all came together. So you can see the globalist plan, just in different places how they're going to achieve it. But you explain
plan, different cover on the book.
What's going on in Britain.
Pardon?
Explain what's going on in Britain.
Yeah, well, with the farmers. I mean, okay, so for years and years and years, they've been making fuck all, really, right? They're making pennies, man. So making pennies in the dollar, really. So let's say, for example, a liter of milk costs 40 cents. The supermarket is buying it off them for 42 or something, 43. And they're making nothing on it, right? So that's put them under enormous pressure. The subsidies that they were getting from the EU obviously are gone now because of Brexit, right? And so those subsidies were supposed to be replaced by the British government, and they haven't been replaced. Or if they've been replaced, they've been replaced at levels that don't come anywhere close to what they were getting. So there's more pressure on the farming industry, less money in their pockets. I mean, they're working for fuck all. Then last week, this new Labour government, left lunatics which have taken over, with an absolute monster majority in the House, have decided that they would put an inheritance tax on farmers. And so,
which they were previously.
They were removed from it. Yeah, they were on.
Yeah,
I mean, there's inheritance tax all over the UK, right? On property. Yeah,
for property.
Yeah, but so how most farms are passed down generation to generation.
Yeah, they're generational farms. Yeah.
So let's say father has come to the end of he's ready to hand it over to his son. Son's going to pick up the farming. He's inherited the farm. He's going to have to pay tax on it.
Yeah. So land in Britain
on land is crazy.
Yeah.
So even a small farmer is going to get whacked. I mean, what they're going to do? They're going to have to sell half the farm to pay the tax, and then the farm is definitely unviable. Then.
Yeah,
I mean, it's insanity. The point of it is I don't know, but what it's essentially going to do is it's going to get rid of all the small farmers.
Right. Yeah. And that's what this politician said that hit me. Is she said that first off we have to do what Margaret Thatcher did with the miners, and dude, I didn't know any of this stuff because it's all not American. This guy, you can see this journalist was shocked. He was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What Margaret Thatcher did to the miners."
Yeah.
And he goes, "You mean beat them up? Have the police beat them up?"
It's such a sensitive.
And he was like,
a sensitive thing, like
He was like, "Well, we have, to be more heavy-handed and to not take stuff off the tee." He goes, "They beat them up. You want to beat up farmers?" And he's like, "If we have to do, we have to do." Da, da, da. And then he said, with the smugness, with the arrogance, he goes, "We don't need these small little farms anymore." And it was like, oh,
it's just the thing. There you go.
What
happened to all the mines, Sean? All the mines were closed. They closed all the mines.
Yeah, they were. Well, I know people went out of
work. There could be one functional mine, coal mine left in the UK, if I remember. Maybe two. That's it. They got rid of them all. They got rid of all the miners. And that's the exact, like the fact that you've seen that. I didn't see that, but it links the two together.
And then also it just shows that they want all those farms are going to be brought up by huge corporations.
Huge corporations,
which you people don't have all the chemicals and shit that we have here that they're allowed to use.
Yeah.
But if they bought all those farms, they're going to buy your government.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have your Fanta with actual orange juice in it. You'll have orange flavored Fanta that glows in the dark, like we have in America.
That's nuts. That's crazy shit. Yeah. And the other thing about that as well, if as that process is ongoing and they're not producing enough, it is so much cheaper to import.
Yeah.
to import spuds or whatever the fuck you need, vegetables or milk or whatever. It's so much cheaper to get it from, you know, Spain, for example.
And in all
Or anywhere.
fairness and honesty, I wonder how Russia is surviving with all these sanctions we put on them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's because it's cheaper to import Russian food and other Russian shit.
Yeah.
That's why when Tucker went to the supermarket, he's like,
Yeah.
these prices are cheaper than my Walmart. What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, these people are supposed to be choking on our sanctions, but it's because they're, you know, same with China. When China started out, they were like, they were devious. They were like, oh, we just want to learn about this capitalism stuff. They just stole so much information. You know, I watched this one dude.
Yeah, they stole
He's
it.
some CEO, and he was like going over to China in the beginning, and he's like, you know, I would be talking to, like, we'd all have a meeting, and he's like, this one CEO would be like, yeah, it was weird. I plugged my laptop into the Ethernet port in my hotel, and then my computer shut down, and then it just came back on, but there was my hard drive was clear, everything was wiped, there was nothing there. Weird, huh? And the guy's like, you brought your actual laptop with all of your company's stuff on it and plugged it into a hotel Ethernet?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He like didn't think about it, but that's how they got all of the information that's why they just make cheap, literally make knockoff.
Yeah, I'm literally identical, absolutely identical. Yeah, I never forget. There's a guy we work with.
No, hold on. I remember he worked for Ford.
Yeah,
and then they came out, or no, Chevy. They came out with they came out with a Ford Focus that was exact specs, everything, and they even called it a Chevy, but they replaced the V with an R. They called it a Cherry.
Okay, yeah, that's what they do. They change one letter.
It was like a Simpsons episode.
You couldn't tell them apart.
But that was how they got all, because he had all the everything for the car in his computer, and he plugged it in, and it got wiped. That's what they told me.
Yeah, same with all their tech. Yeah, but there's a guy we work with, Sean. You know him. He's spoke to us many times. He's been in China. Was in China for 20 years. He got booted out there about 4 years ago. But I remember him saying to me once when he went over, somebody said to him at the time, there's 3 things the Chinese want out of you. Yeah. They want your money, they want your knowledge, and then they want you fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? 20 years down the line, they booted him out, man.
Yep. You know,
China now.
China is like 50s or 60s America. It's they're in that time, their industrial revolution, they're doing all that. But if you remember the term buyer beware,
yes,
that's their religion, dude.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not bad for trying to, I'm not scamming you, man, but I'm just trying to get all I can, you know? So it's your fault if you give it up.
Correct. Yeah.
This dude told a story. So he goes to China, he's in China, he makes this deal, big deal, right? And then he goes to the hotel, and they have a big sign up, welcome John Smith. He was on a podcast, and welcome great big American venture capitalist, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The next day he goes, they're going to sign the papers. So they take him to this conference room in the hotel, and there's like 50 TV stations, there's cameras everywhere, like the mayor's there, all of the chamber, it's packed. And they have this table, and they go to sit down, and they give them the contract, and they raise shit by 40%.
Oh,
they change everything, and they're like, "Here you go." He goes, and he said, "Hey, man, this is not what we agreed upon."
It's different,
he said, "We had to change things at the last minute, but just sign it. You know, everyone's here." And he was like,
"Fuck."
He said, he's looking around. He's like, "I'm not going to sign this." They're like, "What are you talking about? We're on live TV, the government, and blah blah. You have to, you know." Yeah, he goes, "No." Yeah. And he just stood up and he's like, "I'm not going to sign this. Take care." Just walked out of the room. Dude chased him down when he was out right in front of the hotel. Says, "It's okay. We have the other contracts. We sign them."
Wow.
But it was that level of thinking. He said, "That's when I realized how different business was."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a different animal over there, man.
It is, completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. But question. Give it to us, man. This is going to put us under enormous pressure. We're not good at questions, Sean. Damn it. Did Biden agree to give Ukraine the nukes? Not as far as I'm aware.
No, he just gave them the ability to
Yes, the
attack
ability.
the heart of Russia.
Yeah.
Which, and see, that's the thing. When you look at the when you look at the treaty, we should have been there day one.
Day one, but that's 2014.
And rolled up with those missiles to the border and pointed them at Moscow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Putin did what he did to Austria,
yeah, yes,
that's what we would do. We would be forced. Turkey would be forced to.
Yeah, Turkey.
Everyone would be forced to in NATO to roll up to the border and say, "Hey, this is it. We're gonna have to duke it out. Probably gonna kill everybody. Hope you liked attacking Austria," and they'd have to back off.
And that's what would have happened.
And that's what would have happened. And with this treaty, that's what should have happened. And
exactly what should have happened. Yeah.
As soon as they killed, 100 people or whatever in the beginning, we should have said, "Hey, man, this is a treaty. You violated this treaty. We now have."
Obama was in power then, and he was like, "I ain't getting involved in this shit."
And so should the British government. British government should take it first.
Yeah. Yes. They have to put their hands up too. And you know what? They fucking never mentioned it there. They never. Yeah. They just keep saying, "Oh, I had a call with Zelensky today. I said, hey, keep fighting the good fight." I'm like, "Oh, you're cunts. I wouldn't be answering that call." Yeah.
Yeah. But I think also they're just so used to having proxy wars and using other countries to to further the agenda.
Centuries of practice. Yeah. We got 3 minutes left.
But like I said, should have, would have, could have, whatever. We're here now.
Yes.
And I don't think Putin. And I've been saying and I don't want to say it now. Okay, because I've been saying for 2 years that at the start, this is to cross the line and to use a tactical nuclear weapon. Just to break that, to use it, to cross the line, to make that okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're close. I still think it might happen, but most of the smart military people are saying, "No, Putin won't do it. Putin won't do it. There's no way he's going to do it. Can't do it. Won't do it."
Right. You know what?
And we made a point, Lee, that if the election would have went differently, it might have went differently.
Yeah. Oh, I think if the election went differently, the use of a tactical nuclear device was nailed on.
Yeah,
nailed.
I think that now, I think both of them are like, "We'll give it 60 days, dude. We'll give it 60 days."
So this is what I like to end the show with, Sean. The doomsday clock. It's 90 seconds to midnight. The question is, do I stay in Hawaii or run home to Texas with this mess? Who's the mess?
With
personal. It's getting personal.
I think you're better in Hawaii. I really do, because the map that I looked at, California is better. If things go real bad, which I don't think they're going to. I think if they do, Ukraine's just kind of screwed. But then Europe's screwed, because that's where you get your food. But then also, are you going to take our chemical-laced food now?
If you're hungry, you take anything, don't you?
If you don't have your Ukraine to give you your natural food.
Well, if you're hungry, like you'll eat anything, won't you?
Yeah.
Even if it's got chemicals and all sorts of shit.
I'm hungry, though. Eat anything.
Radio. wrap it up.
We are wrapping it up at an hour. What do you know?
Good show.
So yeah, that's what we. I wanted to talk about the stuff, and because Lee's always asked, because he talks about U.S. politics all the time. Wanted me to
Oh, sorry, did I bore you?
to British stuff more and European stuff
I think
more.
we need to keep an eye on what's happening there. It's okay. Let me wrap it up with this.
Well, I think you're right that it's fallen.
Yeah, it's falling.
It is fallen. Whether it can get back up or not,
yes,
that's the story.
It's going to take the Eastern European countries to pull us back up.
That's crazy. To hear you say that is crazy.
Yeah, they're the only ones, man, that haven't lost their fucking minds.
I'll tell you my experience. Maybe it's different for you being Irish, but like it was okay to be racist against them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in a way like to look down on them. You ever seen
looking down on?
Eastern European?
The Eastern Europeans, and that was the thing up until very recent.
See that? Yeah, now because this hit me 2 years ago when I was in the hospital, and my friend came down, my best friend Robert, and like the nurses were talking to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, we grew up together in Europe," and he said West Germany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he still says West Germany. He doesn't say Germany. I say Germany. It's just Germany. Even when I lived there, I said Germany. I've always said Germany. And but his mother is German, and so it's a I guess more cultural. He to this day he says West Germany.
So where is he from? The East or the West?
There was no East. I tried to go to the East once when I was 12, and a soldier put an AK-47 on my head.
That's the correct answer. Yeah.
So, but he still says West Germany whenever he talks about growing up or stuff in the past. Or he says West Germany, and it was a different. If you watch Eurotrip, they like lose all their money, so they're like, oh, we have to go to Eastern Europe now, and they go there with like $1.50, but they stay like this nice hotel, and they like eat all the good food and everything. And they have like $1.50. So it was really looked down upon. It was super poor. There was crime because there was no crime or in Europe when I was growing up. There was, except for terrorists.
Wow.
Our car did get blown up. Okay.
You find some change.
But yeah, just when the wall came down, just hearing that the Benetton model chick, she went back to Germany. And she was telling me about, worrying about getting raped, walking with her kid in the park and stuff. And I was like, "What do you do?"
In the middle of
the
the
day.
You
live in Germany. And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Dude, I worried about the skinheads more than I worried about anyone else."
No, man. If you see them now, you go like, "Whoa, thank God."
It's weird.
Yeah.
No, but just the fact that there's crime, like stores would have like their displays out in the front of the store, outside. When they shut down at noon, they wouldn't bring it back in. No one would feel it.
Long gone those days, man. Long gone.
So I know it's a different place. You told me that, like the top name in Ireland now is Muhammad. It was Sean forever. I looked up in the little town that I grew up in.
Yeah, what's the most popular name?
We couldn't get pizza. There was nowhere to buy a pizza.
Yeah.
There's like a Domino's in my little town now, and like 3 other pizza shops. Jesus. It's just not German, And
there's probably 10 kebab shops in the same place now.
Yeah, well, there's in Berlin, there's more kebab shops than Wurst shops, which this isn't, not really.
And
German.
The percentage the ratio would be crazy high. It could be 5 or 6 to 1, that. Yeah.
Which is fine for, I think, the United States, because that's like what we're made for. It's everybody coming together, different cultures, all that kind of stuff.
This topic is a whole show.
Yeah, it's a whole show because it makes me feel racist as hell. But when I go to Germany, I want German shit. When I go to France, I want stinky, rude French people. It's cool. It's like part of the experience.
I'm going to say something, but I can't say it. I cannot say
it. It's like what I want, man. It's cool.
Yeah, correct.
It's like like going to the place where the like restaurants where people give you shit. It's like that's
maybe we look at that aspect of things next week because that's a show in itself. Cultural changes, how the not only the culture changes, but the thought process, the shift is crazy. We're now, as I said to you at the beginning there, we're looking to the East to stand up to this shit.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is.
Yeah.
It is nuts. And the Polish dude,
I love that guy.
he was. You know, did I tell you what he did on election night?
No, you didn't tell me.
This is amazing, dude. I gotta tell you this before we go. So Patrick Bet-David had this big election night thing.
Yes.
Sold, tickets to it. He bought an airplane hangar full of people. They're having this dude is a guest. Candace Owens is there. All these, pundits. But Cenk from the Young Turks comes on via satellite, and this is when they're losing. Like, this is it. And he comes up, everyone's booing him, and then Patrick's like, "Hey, come on, this guy's coming on here. Be respectful, blah blah blah." And then the Polish parliament guy says some shit, and Cenk's like, "Who are you, man? You're not even American. What does your opinion matter for shit? Why don't you shut up?" And the dude stands up. He goes, "Why am I here? Why am I here? Because I grew up under the Soviet fucking Union, and I know where you guys are going. And my country was saved by the United States and the fucking Pope. That's the only reason that I have a position in my government. That's the reason I'm here. I'm here on your election night out of fucking respect for you saving my country.
Jesus.
That's why my opinion matters. And you're the one that should shut up." I was like,
I tell you what, do not mess those guys. They are fucking amazing speakers.
yeah, especially that dude. That dude is like,
Yeah, that dude's brilliant. I'll get a couple of clips for next week's show with that guy.
they put a fence up around Poland because they're not letting people in.
Mm-hmm.
And the soldiers were like, "Hey, you can't come in here." And a person threw a spear through the fence of the soldier.
Yeah.
First thing the parliament does.
Yeah.
Deadly force allowed at anyone trying to climb the fence.
Yeah.
First thing.
Yeah. No
And
fucking around.
they had a BBC guy interviewing him. And he's like, "Are you serious? What would happen what would happen if I tried to climb this fence and went over it?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you would die like a dog."
You're dead like a dog, yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
They are hardcore.
They are, yeah. Well, they've seen what's happening in Western Europe. Where the society has, the direction it's gone down, the way it's changed so much in 20 years. And nationalism is like a badge that you don't wear with honor anymore in those places.
Yeah, well, that's it.
They've seen that.
And that's what makes them, because they don't want to they don't argue.
They beat you with nationalism.
They don't want to argue. They just say, "Okay, well, here's you have 22%, gang rapes. Your gang rapes are up 9,000% from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
ours are 0.05%.
Yeah,
they're have not risen in 20 years.
Yes,
we have this. Here's our crime. Here's this. Here's yours.
Yeah,
there you go." And then they're like, "That's right. It's not racist, dude. These are just the facts. These are our facts. These are your facts."
correct.
So, yeah, it's pretty simple. We should do a show on that.
I think
on Europe.
You can speak on.
Because I think that's what you're talking about. They're looking to Eastern Europe.
Yeah, to protect the cultural integrities of the countries.
Yeah,
yeah,
like Hungary.
But you've got Hungary, like the Baltic states are the same. You got a couple of the Nordics, but then you have you got Poland and Hungary, the two main fucking stand-ups down there.
Yeah.
You'd have Romania to a degree, Bulgaria. So, yeah. But yeah, there's so much you could talk about there. That's so many clips. That'll be a good show, man. We put it together.
But what's historically interesting is those countries you mentioned have always been the first line of defense against the Middle Eastern occupation or spread, the Ottoman Empire, so on. Those were the ones that Vlad the Impaler. That's how he got this thing, is because he killed, it was like 10, 20 soldiers to one of the Ottoman Empire that were coming in to invade Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've always been the first line of defense. How many
Of Christendom.
armies that came across that way? Huh?
Of Christendom. Even
Yeah.
the Catholic Church is a very odd point. The Catholic Church admits that Dracula saved the church. Helped to save the church.
Yeah.
And in what it's 816 whatever, whenever they came in. And it was King Sobieski that turned the tide at the Siege of Vienna when the Ottoman Empire attacked on 9/11, hundreds of years ago.
Yep. We put a good show together of that, dude. We go back through the history of it and how important those countries were, but were spat upon when they weren't needed.
Yeah.
And now they're important again.
I got in my living room. I have that painting of Sobieski.
You do?
Handing off the letter to the courier to take to Rome.
That's awesome.
Don't worry, I've saved Christendom. I've turned back the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, it's one of my favorite paintings. But yeah, it's one of my favorite stories because it's so crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beauty. It is a beauty. Yeah.
All right,
righty-o, wrap it up.
You guys take care. It was good hanging out with you. Remember to
Great show.
Hit the like button. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a review whenever we have that up. You guys take care. I don't know what are we gonna go out with. Whatever. We'll
pick something good, man.
Where's our?
No, they're all in the other one, so you have to go with
where's our song at?
It's the first one.
Unchained Truth.
Yeah, that's the one.
Man up with the Red Pill Podcast. Voices loud, not afraid to blast. Let the change, truth set free. Unapologetic.